Psalm 104, Praise for God's Majesty in Creation and Providence. Psalm 104 is a profound poetic hymn that extols the greatness, wisdom, and providential care of God as the sovereign creator of the universe. It opens with a heartfelt call for the soul to bless the Lord, acknowledging God's immense majesty and honor. The psalmist vividly describes God as being clothed with light, symbolizing his holiness and glory, and portrays him as stretching out the heavens like a curtain, emphasizing his supreme authority over all creation. This majestic image sets the tone for the entire psalm, highlighting God's power and sovereignty. The psalm proceeds to illustrate God's creative work in the natural world, focusing on the establishment of the earth's foundations, which ensure its stability and permanence. The waters, which once covered the earth, are shown to be under God's control as he sets boundaries for them, demonstrating his ability to impose order over chaos. This imagery of God commanding the forces of nature reveals his role not just as creator but as sustainer who maintains the delicate balance of the cosmos. Central to the psalm is the theme of God's ongoing provision for all living creatures. God sends springs and waters to the valleys, nourishing the land and quenching the thirst of wild animals, while birds find homes among the trees. The moon and sun are appointed by God to govern the seasons and regulate the cycle of day and night, allowing for the rhythms of life to continue. This portrayal underscores God's intimate care for every part of creation, from the smallest birds to the great beasts of the field, illustrating a world in which all creatures depend on him for survival and sustenance. The psalmist expresses awe at the vastness and complexity of God's works, marveling at the countless living creatures that inhabit the seas, including the formidable Leviathan, which symbolizes God's dominion even over the most powerful and terrifying creatures. This section celebrates the diversity and vitality of life, all brought into being and sustained by God's creative power. Moreover, the psalm highlights the dependence of all living beings on God's provision. They wait expectantly for him to provide their food in due season, and when God withdraws his care, life fades and returns to dust. Yet, God's Spirit continually renews the face of the earth, illustrating the ongoing divine involvement in sustaining life and ensuring the renewal of creation. This cyclical process of provision, life, death, and renewal reflects God's faithful stewardship over all he has made. The psalm concludes with a heartfelt expression of praise and worship. The psalmist prays that the glory of the Lord may endure forever and that God would find joy in his works. The natural world responds to God's presence with awe, as the earth trembles and the hills smoke at his touch. The psalmist commits to singing praises to God for as long as he lives, finding gladness and meditation in the Lord. Finally, the psalm ends with a plea for justice, asking that sinners be removed from the earth, reflecting the righteous and holy nature of God's reign. In essence, Psalm 104 is a vivid and poetic celebration of God's creative power, wisdom, and providence. It invites the reader to recognize the natural world as a testament to God's glory and to respond with continual praise and trust in him as the source of all life and order. Through its rich imagery and heartfelt worship, the psalm encourages a deep appreciation of God's ongoing care for the world and all its inhabitants.
Psalm 104. Bless the Lord, O my soul. O Lord my God, you are very great. You are clothed with honor and majesty, who cover yourself with light as with a garment, who stretch out the heavens like a curtain. He lays the beams of his upper chambers in the waters. Who makes the clouds his chariot? Who walks on the wings of the wind? Who makes his angels spirits, his ministers a flame of fire? You who laid the foundations of the earth, so that it should not be moved forever. You covered it with the deep as with a garment. The waters stood above the mountains. At your rebuke they fled. At the voice of your thunder they hastened away. They went up over the mountains. They went down into the valleys, to the place which you founded for them. You have set a boundary that they may not pass over, that they may not return to cover the earth. He sends the springs into the valleys. They flow among the hills. They give drink to every beast of the field. The wild donkeys quench their thirst. By them the birds of the heavens have their home. They sing among the branches. He waters the hills from his upper chambers. The earth is satisfied with the fruit of your works. He causes the grass to grow for cattle, and vegetation for the service of man, that he may bring forth food from the earth, and wine that makes glad the heart of man, oil to make his face shine, and bread which strengthens man's heart. The trees of the Lord are full of sap, the cedars of Lebanon which he planted, where the birds make their nests. The stork has her home in the fir trees. The high hills are for the wild goats. The cliffs are a refuge for the rock badgers. He appointed the moon for seasons. The sun knows its going down. You make darkness, and it is night, in which all the beasts of the forest creep about. The young lions roar after their prey, and seek their food from God. When the sun rises, they gather together, and lie down in their dens. Man goes out to his work and to his labor until the evening. O Lord, how manifold are your works! In wisdom you have made them all. The earth is full of your possessions, this great and wide sea, in which are innumerable teeming things, living things both small and great. There the ships sail about. There is that Leviathan, which you have made to play there. These all wait for you, that you may give them their food in due season. What you give them they gather in. You open your hand, they are filled with good. You hide your face, they are troubled. You take away their breath, they die and return to their dust. You send forth your Spirit, they are created, and you renew the face of the earth. May the glory of the Lord endure forever. May the Lord rejoice in his works. He looks on the earth, and it trembles. He touches the hills, and they smoke. I will sing to the Lord as long as I live. I will sing praise to my God while I have my being. May my meditation be sweet to him. I will be glad in the Lord. May sinners be consumed from the earth, and the wicked be no more. Bless the Lord, O my soul. Praise the Lord.